Everyone, now we are not at another theme park, baby, but we are here at the Wells Belt Museum of African American History and Culture. This is actually a place that we've been wanting to come to for quite some time.
And you know what's crazy? It is built in cooperation with Universal Orlando Resort.
So
So we're
cool.
kind of at another theme park.
Sort of, but by default. So let's go check it out, and then we're going to have a good time.
So the building is historical. This was in 1926, and this is during the time of the segregation. So what this building actually was 3 individual storefronts on the bottom half. And then on the second floor was this one, 2 hotel rooms. Next door, which way did you guys park? Behind me?
Right.
Okay. Well, next door, we moved this home there that him and his wife lived in. But what actually sat on that property was the South Street Casino.
Oh, wow.
So it wasn't a gambling hall, but it was a dance hall that the various acts that was on the Chitlin Circuit actually performed there, as well as they had all kind of other events there. Surrounding cities would come here to shop, to live, as well as to be entertained. When Dr. Wells moved here originally, he was one of the first black doctors in there. So he was also a doctor. He was said to have delivered over 5,500 babies, which was half of the community during that time.
They actually give you a welcome video.
Orlando's African American community.
This is pretty interesting.
The Gabriel Jones House on Perry Street, built in 1907, and the Cruz House on Washington.
One of the things that we show is, are you familiar with the, or ever heard of Negro?
I never heard of, it's the Negro Motorist Green Book.
I've never heard of that.
I never heard of
So
it.
that was a travel guide for blacks. So as they traveled, they would use it. It was kind of a guide, and you kind of coordinate wherever you're traveling, where it was safe for you to stop.
Wow.
So these were like, these were the places that they could only go to.
Right.
Oh,
That
wow.
was safe for them as black people, of course. Now, most likely they were black businesses, and some probably were not, because, and also the Green Book, Ford motorists actually had took out an ad in the Green Book, because not only was blacks traveling, they was traveling in cars. So they was like, hey, come buy a car from us. And then when they did that,
They came to Orlando. They could only stay here at the Wells Belt.
Their home, but as far as putting it on the map, and you know,
Like you
for a
could stay in
fact,
different
I'm going
cities
through
in
Orlando,
Jacksonville,
this is the spot
in
that I know
Miami,
I would
in
stay.
Tampa,
So it's
but
kinda
there's not very
safe.
many
You know
places they
what you
can go.
Now, along the ways, of course,
Fine
but
stuff.
you never know how many.
This is amazing. If you look down here, they have
As he did in this case, and it was
like a
said
public
that you could
sale
go
of
in and out
Negroes
different doors. Now, each one of these stores have
that they had
different doors, because they were sealed
as
off,
an
but
ad.
somehow, some
You can
kind of
see
way
almost
must
like a
have been
different
some
ad
kind of
here.
intermediary between
That's
the three, because it
pretty
was
interesting.
noted that he came in and out different doors. And looking at the types of money that was coming in during those years,
See B.B. King's name here.
that
They
was
spend a lot of money.
yeah. But
Yeah.
the figure surrounding cities came. So it wasn't like it was a lot
everybody who came through.
entertainment. And then I read that if anything had Chitlin behind it, like the Chitlin kind of ran that way, that means it was safe. Because you see a lot of the movies, they portray a lot of extortion from the police, a lot of, just in the interference and things like that. It really wasn't a good time. So you figure a lot of them,
So
when we consider
the
holes in
registry,
walls, that might be
financially,
why
they
wasn't
came through the
on
casino.
She's in the other room.
African artifacts, masks, all around here. So this is very, very interesting. Take a look at that. And this was a headdress that they used.
It's for the ceremony of the first planting for the Bambara tribe in Mali.
Wow.
The story behind the stool is super interesting too. Owners believed that when you sat on it, the owners of it, their soul occupied it, and they wouldn't let other people sit on it. And if no one was occupying it, then they would turn it to its side so that other souls couldn't corrupt it and corrupt the owner as well.
Wow. Dedicated to, like the old jazz and music around Orlando, New Orleans. They have an old jukebox here. You have a bunch of 45 records and records of Ray Charles, James Brown. They have a little James Brown bobblehead right here. Yeah, this is pretty interesting. Through this Hotel, Hank Aaron. They got a ton of stuff from Hank Aaron right on top of this player piano here. Now, you don't want to play it, but typically this would be prominently here inside this hall, as you see. But they have Hank Aaron's cleats, a ball, his baseball bat, glove, and baseballs with a picture of Hank Aaron. So definitely a pioneer in baseball. A ton of African American dolls and statues, but it's all, I would say, you see just kind of the stereotypical things here. And I remember I found those not too long ago, if you guys remember. But wow. And that's how they would just depict African Americans, especially these. There, and there. And it was very not uncommon to see an African American black folks in a statue holding a watermelon. Statues here. They have one of Muhammad Ali right here, but they have a bunch of statues and dolls of that old African American nature there. You know, they have a black Barbie doll. We don't have too many dolls that existed, so it was very rare to find these like in a store. Like this one right there, that one I know was a super important one that released. That one I liked Miss Fannie Lou Hammer. Keep going around and see. That's pretty cool. Section with Martin Luther King. And you can see there's various photographs of him with his family. There. Here. Detailing and memorializing his life. I'm quite sure he's passed through these halls that I'm standing in right now. So this is definitely big with history. Wood sculptures. Right here. You see this sculpture of the boat. Look at that. And also a lot of fans and I'd say almost kind of wicker, like looks like a plate, baskets. Missed it. This place, the Wells House, is based off of Dr. William Monroe Wells, African American physician and owner of the Wells Built Hotel and South Street Casino. Built this house in 1924, and about 5,500 babies. He helped deliver them, which I believe.
In '89 at 93 years old.
Shelf of nothing but African American literature. I see the color purple over here, the Underground Railroad, Black Rage, Black English, Roots is down there. A couple of Orlando Magic jerseys. Look at the shoes. You can even fit those. I wasn't too big into the Orlando Magic from way back in the day. I was more of a Laker fan. Didn't get into it until like Shaquille O'Neal came into play. So this is pretty interesting to see. Right up here. And if you look over here, Washington Shores, they actually have like kind of what each piece of the African American like areas would be. So Washington Shores is the first community of African Americans in Orlando. This was established in the late 1800s. White leaders in Orlando identified Jonestown as a slum in 1938 and began plans to relocate its residents elsewhere in the city. And that's kind of where we are now. It's the Callahan, Holden, and Paramore neighborhoods. And this museum is right in the Paramore area. And I'll show you guys as soon as we're able to get outside. But really interesting stuff to see. Look, Jonestown as well. After emancipation, free African Americans migrated to Orlando, seeking work, economic security, and better futures for themselves and their children. And they all moved to the Jonestown area, which is on the other side of the 4, because there's Bumby and Jackson. I think that's the 4 right there. No, that looks like the 408. So it's kind of like the area that they would be at. A good thing to read and check out. When Florida and other southern states seceded from the United States in September 1861, President Abraham Lincoln sought ways to preserve the Union. And so he wrote the Emancipation Proclamation, but a lot of people have questions about Juneteenth. And what that is the last of the American slaves to learn of their freedom were in Galveston, Texas, who received the news on June 19th. And June 19th has been shortened over the years, and today is known as Juneteenth. And that's the big celebration. And it has to be on this very day. Coe Massacre. So this is going to have to be another place I want to check out here. But, let's see, where's this? The citizens formed a posse and went to the colored quarters where they surrounded the home of July Perry. July Perry was shot and killed two members of the posse. News of the killing of the 2 white men was broadcast over the radio. An angry mob of whites from surrounding areas gathered in Ocoee. When the mob broke into Perry's house, he was there with his wife Estelle and daughter. Another daughter was hiding behind the house with the brothers. Several bullets from the mob found their mark, and Estelle urged July to leave the house and crawl as far away as possible. If left standing, she knew he would be seen and shot on sight. Alan Frank's, July Perry's nephew, survived the mob attack. He recalled the experience. But his tombstone, July Perry, is at the Greenwood Cemetery in Orlando, right here. Now this one was the first black owned and operated banks in Orlando. Now it's taken over by another building, but the building still stands. But here's the original sign.
Flowers on the front, and I used to take down the braids and then try to braid them different ways.
So you can actually like rebraid the hair.
Yeah, we used to play with these all the time. We have 4 of them.
A nice book with information on notable folks in the black community. Paul Robeson, Marcus Garvey, Thurgood Marshall, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, and Rosa Parks. This section right here of the legendary sit down, or the sit in. Booker T. Washington, Harriet Tubman, and Frederick Douglass, Nat Turner. This as far back as Richard Allen. Wow. You know, African Americans did do their part and like really kind of help shape America. Inventors, you know, black inventors that help, you know, land on the moon, space travel. How 80s John Wallace turned trail dust to pay dirt. Garrett Morgan. whose invention of the gas mask revolutionized firefighting and saved the lives of thousands of soldiers in combat during World War I. You have astrophysicist George Carruthers, who designed the ultraviolet camera used on the Apollo 16 lunar mission. And you got George Washington Carver. The legend of John Henry. Let me see if I can get closer. In 1619, the first cargo of slaves important for English America came to Jamestown. The first black child born and baptized in English colonies was William Tucker. Benjamin Benneker, first black astronomer, is credited making the first clock to strike the hour. 1758, the first black college graduate in the Western Hemisphere was Francis Williams. Crispus Attucks, martyr of the Revolutionary War, escaped from his master in Farmington, Massachusetts. The first black Baptist church was organized by George Lely. The first free school, the African Free School, was operated in New York City. The first black order of Catholic nuns was founded by Antoine Blanc. James Durham began his medical practice and was the first black doctor to be recognized in the United States. The Freedom Journal was the first black newspaper published in New York. The first black elected to full term in the U.S. Senate was Blanche K. Bruce. The first Northern Black Regiment was known as the 54th Massachusetts Volunteer. John Rock became the first black to practice before the Supreme Court in 1865. The first black to earn a doctor's philosophy degree was Patrick Healy. The first black woman bank president was Maggie Lena Walker in 1867. And then Jefferson Long was the first black in the U.S. House of Representatives. And the list goes on and on and on of names that I assure you aren't being spoken of. In 1975, Daniel Chappie James became the first black four-star general in American history. The first. Nat Turner. Look at all this. And most people know from here, but it's been a wealth of knowledge all the way from way back. This particular fan right here, my grandmother actually had this fan. This is a Mahalia Jackson fan. My grandmother owned this one. I've seen this thousands of times. There's like a Jet magazine, especially about Marvin Gaye. You can actually see like a couple of Ebony magazines. This one has Bill Cosby on the cover. You actually see a couple of Ebony magazines here with looks like President Carter there. And the death of Marvin Gaye on the cover of Rolling Stone. Let's see, looking at a frieze, like this is how they would have depicted people back in 1922. And I think at the time they thought it would be all in fun, but it's kind of offensive when you look back at it. That particular imagery here, as far as the magazine would go. The Bull Durham smoking tobacco ad. That's kind of what they would use as far as imagery goes. They got a second floor. We're going to go upstairs and kind of check out.
I saw it up there. I just didn't know if we could access it.
What the hotel actually looked like back in the day. So we're going to go check it out. And it's going to be still intact. Because all this is kind of the lobby here. But we're going to go upstairs now. We're walking in. Now, although a lot of this stuff may be modern and everything, but this, wow. So this would be the actual like hotel portion.
But I rent out office space now, except for the one room, the replica room that I'm going to show you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is amazing. So,
This walk that was added since it was a museum, how they used to check in was one of the storefronts downstairs, whichever one was designated. Come out, and it sets right on the side of the building, and this is the actual way they would get in to the hotel.
And you said it was 20 rooms up here?
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Then, take a look at that. That's really cool. I like how they have like the little like old radio here. They have the bed.
Oh, you check in, go in here and let
Yeah.
listen to the radio.
This is
Go
actually,
next door to the casino.
yeah, it's like a nice room here.
Yeah.
But a lot of it now is just
I like the
office
room numbers
space.
are still there.
And the room numbers are still here, as you can see.
And she said there were 20 rooms.
20 rooms up here.
It goes in the square.
And there's still like a lot of photos that you can see. But most of this is all offices. And here's the office of Senator Geraldine Thompson.
And she said that they would check in downstairs in one of the storefronts, and then once they checked in, they would go around the side and they would come up through this door to get to their room.
Wonder why they would have to come up from the side.
Because that was a store down there.
Oh, okay.
Remember those were storefronts? It wasn't the hotel lobby, those were all stores.
Yeah, that's right.
And then you would come upstairs to the hotel. Because remember when he moved out here, he had a store.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the back area, she said there was like an attic area and then a basement area where he did most of his medical stuff.
Yeah, that's right. It was like original.
Yeah, she said downstairs too. That's the original. You can see it downstairs leading down.
Yeah, so you can kind of check out the brickwork on the side.
What I'm interested to see is that from downstairs you can see that. Yep, original wall. From 1920, that's crazy. He calls him one. It's W.E.B. Du Bois.
So W.E.B. Du Bois.
He's probably one of the most important figures in Black American history. He went to Harvard. He went to school in Berlin. He was one of the founding members of the NAACP. Everybody learned about him, especially if you grew up like in the Midwest or in the South.
Mm-hmm. Several books: The Philadelphia Negro, Souls of the Black Folk, Dark Water, and the Black Reconstruction of America. This publication, The Suppression of African Slave Trade in the United States of America, documented the long period of man's inhumanity to man.
Marcus Garvey.
As we're walking through here, so a lot of it is still preserved, believe it or not.
That's like a room and the window just like...
Wells's house here, and then the casino was here, I think. Yeah, because it's right across the street. So the casino would have been in this parking lot.
In the hotel.
Then the hotel. Storefronts right down here.
And then his house.
And then his house. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So that's going to be it for us at the Wells Built. I think it's very important, especially right now in days, especially right now in this month when it's Black History, and you have movies like Black Panther that came out, and you have a lot of people who have this resurgence of just Black culture. I think it's very important that we go out and support that same heritage and then learn about that history that I believe we deserve. You know, it's one thing to go out and see a movie and have pride in that, but in your neighborhoods and in your towns, learning about that history, learning about what was the, you know, the Black importance, the Black history behind your town. I think that's also very important. And we didn't even know that I was there until I went to that museum, and I think we were the only ones there for quite some time.
Yeah.
So go out, support, you know, local Black businesses, and learn about Black history, not just in February, but
Any time of the year.
any time of the year, 365 days. But did you have a good time, baby?
I did. I had a great time. It brought back a lot of memories, especially of growing up in this part of the country. So it was sobering, but it was nice to learn about the history and see that in little places like this that you didn't think of, that it was celebrated. So I'm excited. I enjoyed the day.
That was really fun. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Smash that like button. We're out.
Make the ground shake.